it's Shell from Scrap Secrets, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of the Card Hoppin March event, where our theme was birthday and our techniques are gilding flakes or glitter. I don't have any gilding flakes, so I chose glitter. I do not love glitter, but I wanted to create my own glitter cardstock, and I love doing this because it does not rub off. And the way you do it is you're going to put some embossing ink down. So this is the cube from Hero Arts that I got the other day in one of my kits. Then you're going to pour some glitter embossing powder and heat set it, and that glitter will be trapped inside of there. It won't rub off like some of the glitter cardstock does, so it's fantastic. It's a great way to make things match to your project or have the colors that you want, and it will not come off. So I love doing that. I am going to be using 5 different colors of glittered embossing powder, and I'm going to repeat the same technique, putting the embossing ink down, putting down the glitter embossing powder, heating it up, and letting it cool down before I run my hands over it to make sure that all of the embossing powder has stuck. You want to make sure that it's cooled down because you can actually get your fingerprint in there if it's not cooled down. I've done that a couple times and messed up some projects, so I try to be a little bit patient, but it doesn't always work. So the 5 colors that I'm using, 3 of them are from Martha Stewart, and these ones are super old. They're probably between 10 and 12 years old. I got them at Michael's when they used to carry a Martha Stewart line, and they are Peridot, Turquoise, and Tourmaline. I think that's how you say that color. That's the pink. Ranger Holographic, and Hero Arts Yellow Prisma. I'm using the Honeybee Raise a Glass die set to cut out the liquid pieces. So there's 2 parts to the glass. There's the glass and then the liquid that's inside of it for the dies. I'm using what I think is all liquid, and then you'll see me, I realize that, oh, that's not the right one. That big blue one is not the liquid. That's actually one of the cups. So I will run that correct piece back through my die set with the holographic. So you're not going to have a blue liquid, but we are going to have a blue sentiment. So I do end up using the blue color, just not in the glasses like I originally planned. Once I realized that, you can see me here trying to figure it all out and realizing my mistakes. So now I'm going to run that back through my Cuttlebug, and then we can get moving on to the next part of the card. So we are going to be creating the background, and I wanted to do it like a bar scene. So I have my piece of cardstock here that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I took a piece of washi tape to mask off a section where we're going to do the bar. I'm going to use 2 colors of Distress Oxide, and this one is Gathered Twigs. These were just lying on my table from another project that I did. So I'm going to go in first with some Gathered Twig, and then I get a Tim Holtz stencil, which is just a wood grain stencil. I'm going to go over that with my second color of Distress Oxide, which is Walnut Stain. And because these colors are not that different, I only have one dark brown brush. So you're going to see I'm going to use the exact same brush to put on this Distress Oxide. With this, because there are so many delicate pieces in there, I'm actually just going to kind of swipe it down. I would normally go in a circular motion, but because of the delicateness of this stencil, I am just going to kind of swipe the ink down that you see there, and it creates a very cool wood grain pattern on there, and it looks like a bar top or side of a bar. So once that is done, I am going to ink up the sky. Kind of want it to be like a sky background, maybe like an outdoor scene. So I'm using some tumbled glass Distress Oxide around all of the edges. And I will not mess up, but I will forget something. I should have probably taken off the washi tape here, because when I pull it up, there's a white part that's under the washi tape that has no color on it. I really just wanted color on the outside and the top. but I went in a little bit too far and with a little bit heavy-handedness, because you guys know I am heavy-handed with my ink blending. So when I pull this tape up, you're gonna see there's that big white line, and I didn't like that. So I am going to go in with my brush and then just add a little bit more ink to both of the sides, but the middle is still pretty white. So once I go back in and add the ink there, my next step is going to be to stamp the glasses down. So there's 4 of them. I could have used the die cuts, but I couldn't find any vellum. I wanted it to be in vellum. So I said, okay, the next best thing would be for me to stamp the glasses down. So I'm going to do small and then a shorter, then a taller glass, and then a shorter, then a taller glass, because I thought that it made it look a little bit more balanced. I don't know why, but I probably should have done short then tall. For some reason, this looks a little odd to me, but I didn't. So this is what I ended up going with. I'm going to move the glasses so that they're about as equally spaced as I can get them, making sure that the stems are touching the bar part, and then we're going to ink it up with MFT's Extreme Black ink. I will ink this up a couple of times. I did re-ink this stamp pad, and for some reason, I don't know, I don't get great results with it. I do have the Lawn Fawn black ink. I think it's the jet black ink that I have to open, and I do need to try that. So I think my next project, I'm going to try that and see how that goes. So I've stamped those images a couple of times, and I noticed there was a lot of white space, so I went back in with my brush. I didn't really put any more ink on it. I just used the ink that was there to try to fill in some of the white spaces. Actually, oh, sorry, I do add more ink. I didn't think I did. I went and added a little bit more ink and just tried to get in between the glasses. I wanted them to be kind of translucent. I could have easily masked these pieces off and did the blue afterwards, but I did a lot of masking this weekend, so I was just not into it. Now I am going to put all of the liquid for the glasses on the proper glass and make sure everything looks okay. And doesn't that look so pretty and sparkly? I just love it. And it was such an easy way to add glitter to your project, but without it falling off. I'm taking the Honeybee Bee Precision Glue and just putting a little bit of glue on the back of each of these pieces. And you'll see that there is an image behind it. It was something that I used, and it was for a project that didn't really come out that great. It was the first time of me stamping that floral image, and I guess I didn't let it dry. I don't know, but I used oxide on it, which didn't look great, and then it also drug the color. So I just used the back of that to create these pieces of glitter cardstock, and so that's why you'll see me do that. I try not to waste paper. I'm gluing all 4 of those pieces in, and then I'm going to take a couple of Copic markers and do some shading. This was totally unnecessary, and I don't really think it added anything to the card. I just wanted to see. There's a C1 and a C0 that I just added a little bit to the bottom, kind of to try to make the glasses look a little bit more round. So use C1 on the edges and then pulled out a C0 to connect the two. I really don't think you can tell. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But you let me know. If you think that it did make a difference, let me know down in the comments below. But I don't see a huge difference by doing this in person or on camera. But I can't just leave things white. I have to go back and add a little bit of gray or a light blue there. So now that I am happy with that, I am going to go around the edges a little bit more. I wanted to make the edges look a little bit darker than the middle. And I am going to create the sentiment now. I'm using a Honeybee stamp set called Sip Sip Hooray and picking a sentiment for the front as well as the inside. So this one says, let's party, and there is Lucy. She decided that she was going to join me for this part of the card, and you'll see her probably for the rest of the card. I think she's in the rest of the video. So I'm using my anti-static powder, which is a light kaolin clay, and then she gets her tail in the way. And I just went over the Distress Oxide that I did because it was probably still a little bit wet and I didn't want anything sticking to areas that it shouldn't. I'm using that same embossing powder, and Lucy is checking it out to ink up the stamp, and then I'm going to put it down a couple times. She did go after me. She did try to bite me. I think she does have cataracts. I think she probably can't see that well. She's 18 and a half years old, so I think she sudden movements, and she's also a spoiled brat. So it could be one of the two things. I'm not really sure what her deal was, but she was enjoying sitting here watching me. So as long as she didn't bite me and draw blood, I was okay with letting her stay. So we're going to be pouring that turquoise color over the embossed sentiment and just wiping off some of that excess before I get ready to heat set it into place. And it says "Let's Party" on the front. And then you're going to see me get my heat gun out. She really did not like this. The sound didn't bother her, but the closer it got to her, it must have been a little bit too hot. So you can see her get up and move. So I don't know. I don't know if my mom seems to think she might be deaf now. I don't think so. I think she can still hear, but I think it was just the heat was a little bit like she felt the heat. She doesn't like the hair dryer, so I think it was kind of like that reflex where she got up and left. So I let it dry, and then you can see me touching it just to make sure that there's no glitter that is going to fall off, that everything is heat set. And when I'm happy with that, I go and get a card base, and this is a pre-made card base. So it's a little bit smaller than a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch one. So I'm putting glitter strips down the side. This is glitter tape that I got from Michael's so long ago. So I'm using glitter. I made my own glitter paper, and now I'm using glitter tape for this. So I'm going to line it up on the edge of the card and then cut it off when you get to the bottom. You see my head. Sorry, my head was in frame because I was trying to make sure that it wasn't overhanging on the card and that it looked okay. So we'll do it for that side of the card, and then I will do the other side of the card with this. It doesn't exactly match the pink that I have, but it was close enough. I had originally picked a green one, but since the green was on the end, you could tell that the greens weren't the exact same, so I figured this would be easier. My original idea was to swipe the embossing powder or the embossing ink down the sides and then heat set that, but I found this glitter tape and I was like, hey, I have this. Let me use it. Let me show you that there's a different technique that you can do. So this glitter tape makes a perfect backdrop. And because the top and bottom of the card front are the exact same size as the card base, I had room just on the sides, and so I didn't have to worry about the top and the bottom. I just wanted a little something on the sides behind that card front. So that is the outside of the card. And then we are going to get ready to stamp the interior of the card. So one of the things that Honeybee does really well is make buildable sentiments, especially for the insides of your card. So I thought this would say, this is cute, and it says drinks are on me, and there's also one that says drinks, and then you can do on the bar, I think is the other one. So that one was really, really cute. I'm going to place it on a block. I was being a little bit brave and not using my Misty or my Stamp Perfect. I'm just going to go straight onto the card. It didn't stamp a super solid color, but you could read the words, so I was happy with it. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it. I probably should have stamped it, like put the card in my Misty, not actually use the Misty, and just, for some cushioning. So that's the card for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you are enjoying the hop. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again real soon for another video. Bye!